Why is the military coffin draped with an American flag? Is it to make the families of dead soldiers feel proud? Why do they need to feel proud? Is it so they don't discover the truth? What is the truth? Why are we at war, and why have we been at war every year since 1945? Is someone profiting from war? If so, then whom? The flag on the coffin must have been a shock at first. We were told not to desecrate the flag, and now it's put on a coffin? Who was the first to test this clever propaganda tool? How was it sold to the public? Because when I see a soldier's eyes when he says he's serving his country, I see that he has an illusion that he's a hero, and I wonder who put that idea in his head. Why do we go to war so often? Can't we get along with anyone? Why does the military might of the United States have to be used to take oil from sovereign nations? Why do we have to occupy their poppy fields? I thought there was a war on drugs. No war? They're not going to destroy the poppy fields? So soldiers are dying for dope. Why is dope a U.S. priority? If the soldiers get the glory, what do the American people get besides the bill for the war? Who gets the profits from the drug business? How do they keep the soldiers and the American people from discovering the truth? Do they murder reporters who come to get the truth? WikiLeaks says they do, and shows videos of some of the murders of reporters. You would expect drug dealers to murder anyone who attempts to impact their lucrative drug racket.
If a soldier speaks out, like Pat Tillman did in Afghanistan, that famous football player who became an Army Ranger, and he found out that we were just in Afghanistan to protect 30 times the amount of poppy fields that we've replanted now. The Taliban destroyed the poppy fields, and U.S. bankers, the New York bankers, were losing $300 million a month. So that's why we went into Afghanistan to replant the poppy fields and destroy the Taliban. And now we've planted 30 times the poppy fields now. And Pat Tillman found out that's the reason we're there, to protect these poppy fields for the international banksters. And he said he was going to come home and take over the anti-war movement. In the next few days, he got shot in the head 3 times, in the forehead 3 times, was assassinated. And then I had a female, a good young lady from Prescott, Arizona, who was a Mormon, who went there as a translator for the torture prisons that they had in Afghanistan and Iraq. And she spent 3 days in there trying to interpret for these people being tortured. And she came out and said, "I'm not going to do this anymore. No way, no how." So they put her on guard duty on the gate. And a few days later, she allegedly committed suicide with her rifle. So what we've been told by soldiers coming back, and some of them officers, is that if you speak out and say you're not going to shoot this child in the head anymore, I'm not doing that anymore, then in the next few days you're suicided. And they write to your folks and tell them that you committed suicide, because they don't want you coming home and telling these stories.
Let's go back to the suckers who fight the wars. We were talking about the flag on the coffin and why it's there. We already said that it makes families feel proud if they buy the illusion that their dead son or daughter, brother or sister was a hero, and that message is sold to young people so they enlist to fight for oil and dope. Is that the only way that soldiers are motivated to do the disgusting task of helping criminals steal oil and take part in the lucrative drug racket? Why are military funerals associated with honor? Why is the color white used on some military uniforms to symbolize purity and cleanliness when the task of dealing in drugs and theft of oil is such a dirty business? Is this part of the propaganda program? How much longer will the people believe this horse manure? Would you allow someone you love to enter the military, knowing the truth about the theft of oil and the drug rackets? Have you ever wondered about the invasions and the purpose of these wars? Has it ever occurred to you that you've been lied to, and we really have no reason to be in someone else's country as an invader, any more than they have a right to be on our soil with tanks and armored vehicles, military staff, and bombs? If they came here and did to us what our rulers are doing to them, would you try to kill them? Do you understand why we are hated all over the world? When will Americans change their attitude about war? Why are the dead always heroes, not suckers? How many soldiers know about the heroin business, the CIA involvement, and the huge profits that come from this racket? If you told them, would they be in denial? Is it hard to give up the illusion, the delusion, the confusion? Is it hard to admit that you've been had? How difficult is it to face the truth that you're a sap, a stooge, a loser? After the truth is pointed out, will you remain gullible? Will it be easier to think of a dead soldier as a hero than to admit the truth that he died for drugs intended for sale by the CIA on American streets? Drugs sold to U.S. kids. Is that a hero? Is that serving your country? How proud can you be? What do you say to the friends and the family of the dead soldier? Do you tell them that he was a sucker, a fool? Do you destroy their illusion, their fantasy? Do you bring the truth to a funeral? What is the purpose? What do you gain? How does his family benefit by knowing the truth? If all the families knew the truth, would there be wars? Would those who sell arms and make a killing from the bloodshed be able to fool you? If you told the truth and destroyed their propaganda machine? Do we want dead soldiers, coffins, and flags, or do we want peace, prosperity, and our friends alive so they can become real heroes, spreading the truth for all to know?